step by step on business. That's on my mama, watch me spin on me and split, now I can't feel it. We in the trap, we sold the city on my biddy. Take these diamonds off and show you how we lit it.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Before the Horn podcast. I am your host, Dino. As well, I got hosting Khalil.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Back with, we got a big episode to talk about. Let's get it.
We got a pretty good one, man. As y'all can see, I've been going for the last couple episodes. I got some stuff going on with college football, got late practices and stuff, getting ready for the season. We took our dub in week 1. Y'all already know and talk about, man. If you know me, that was a big game for me. I'm not even eligible right now, but my Dogs took the win over a team that I'm not a big fan of. So I love it. But to what we're going to be talking about today, man, we got a couple games that we're going to recap from week 1 in the college football season. We got about 4 of them that we feel like was the biggest 4 games that we're going to recap on what went down in those. We have our playoff predictions for the NFL for the 2023 season. We want to talk about what we think is going to go down in the playoffs, who we think is going to take it all, and what the season is going to look like. We also got our 2023 NFL award predictions. We're going to talk about who we think is going to bring home the Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. If y'all know what I'm talking about with those. And to end it off, we have our top 10 running backs in the NFL going into the 2023 NFL season. So, Lil, you got to kick us off with this one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's jump right into it. I think the biggest game of the weekend was the top 10 matchup between LSU and FSU that just ended not too long ago. We talked about this earlier, probably like last week or whatever. I told you this game was going to mean a lot once it came to playoff standings and who's in and who's out, and the team that loses may not ever have an opportunity to make the playoffs this year. But just to jump right into it, it was a very competitive first half, I would say. Going into halftime, 17-14 with LSU leading. And I think what I really took away from this game is that, these are 2 very good teams that have 2 very good quarterbacks that have flaws as well. If you look at some of the passes they made on both ends of the ball, on both sides, like it's just questionable throws. LSU could not convert when they needed to. They stalled out on 4th down way too much for a team that's trying to win a game. I think they were mistaken 0-3 on 4th down in the game, 3 for 10 on 3rd down. That's a recipe to lose, in my opinion. Like, they started off the game, they go straight down the field, then stall in the end zone and get no points because they go for it on 4th down. And, once you leave points on the board, it's hard to, recoup those. And I want to say Florida State just took advantage of good field position. They went 9 for 14 on 3rd down, 1 for 1 on 4th down. They both teams turned the ball over. FSU turned it over once to Florida State Florida State turned it over once to LSU turned it over twice. But I think this game came down to, and I think one of the biggest factors in this game was Keon Coleman, the transfer from Michigan State. He came out there and he made a statement. He finished the game with 9 catches for 122 yards and 3 touchdowns. You had the run game that was pretty good. They finished with 135 rushing yards as a team, so that was pretty solid. But I think all in all, after the end of this game being 45-24, I don't see a way that LSU has a route to the playoffs. The only way LSU makes the playoffs at this point is if they win out. And that means winning the SEC championship, probably against Georgia coming out the East, because I had Georgia coming out the East. That's the only way that they can make a route to the playoffs. Right now, Florida State is in a good spot. They just had a 21-point win over a team that's ranked 5th in the nation. So I think Florida State is set up in a very, very good position to control their destiny, and they have a very good chance, especially in that ACC, if they beat Clemson this year, to make the playoffs and make some noise.
Yeah, facts. I can honestly agree with everything you said. One thing that I could say is that I did not expect this game to go this way at all. My prediction was that LSU was going to come out with the win. I'm going to be honest with you. But like you said, like you touched on already, I feel like this just crushed their playoff dreams as far as right now, unless, like you said, they went out. I mean, they didn't really show anything too impressive at all from any side of the ball, if you ask me, that says like, yeah, this is a team that deserves a shot at winning the national championship. I'm gonna be honest, stats really wasn't even off the chart. I mean, Jaden Daniels, he did have a pretty good game with throwing for 347 and a touchdown, but he did throw a pick
I
to
think
match that
some of those
touchdown.
yards were inflated. Like it wasn't like some of those yards. It looked better
Yeah,
than what it actually was. The actual quarterback play was.
that's a fact. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did like seeing what I seen. We, if you know about Florida State's pass rush, you know they got a pretty good pass rush. I liked what I seen with him moving in the pocket and moving around and eluding them, especially going after players like Jared Verse. Like he literally ran straight after him and made moves and all that. I like seeing that toughness, but it really just wasn't enough. None of their receivers really came out to play other than Brian Thomas. He came out to really do his thing. He had 147 and a touchdown. But man, Florida State looked great. Not gonna lie, they look great. I mean, Jordan Travis looked like he can be in the top quarterback conversation. I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of people, they haven't really had him up there with like with the Drake Mays and the Michael Penix. I know you're not really too high on him, but he's up there in that conversation. But nobody really talks about Jordan Travis. But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like 23 for 31 for 342 and a touchdown and only one pick in a big game like that. I feel like that is a statement. That was a statement right there to go out and put them points. How much they put 45 on the top ranked defense at that. Like LSU doesn't have a wimpy defense either. Like man, Keon Coleman came out to ball out. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like Johnny Wilson too. Johnny Wilson went out there, he got himself 7 receptions for 104. He
He
made
did
pretty
have
good
some
catches.
clean drops though. He did have
He did have some drops. He did have some
some
clean
wide
drops
open
too.
ones at that.
Like yeah, he had some clean drops, but he did make a lot of catches when he needed to, and he made the tough ones. It's not really saying too much when you talk about dropping the ball wide open, but he still came out to play. If he caught them passes that he dropped, he would have had better. Well, not really. He wouldn't have 3 touchdowns, but he would have more yards than Keon Coleman. So I mean, like you said, man, they are controlling their own destiny right now, and as long as they keep this boat rolling, it's gonna be all Florida State.
Yeah, for sure. Only thing I had like the praise that you gave with Jordan Travis is like he made some bad throws in that game too. Like that interception, bro. It was a quick screen. You pump fake the quick screen and then get pressure in your face and try to throw it. Like, no, that's one of the ones you just gotta eat. And I guess like you could say his first game jitters, first game nerves, whatever it may be, because he definitely settled in the second half, and he made plays when plays needed to be made. But like just those small plays like that, I just don't like to see it because that's bush league material. That's not top quarterback in the nation material. Just like those are just certain plays like you can't do stuff like that. Why would you even look to do stuff like that? But yeah, Florida State definitely did look good, especially in that second half for sure. But let's jump into the big news, big storyline of the week of Colorado knocking off TCU in a probably one of the best games that you're going to see all year. Colorado came out there and won 45-42 to knock off number 17 ranked TCU.
Yep.
My takeaway from that game, bro, is Shador Sanders is legit. He is legit. I have my reservations about him just from the simple fact, he's playing at a HBCU. His dad's Deion Sanders, so Deion Sanders, going to give him the spot. He's going to get the opportunities just because, we seen we seen the first meeting that Prime got there. He said, "I'm bringing my luggage in his Louis," and one of them Louis bags was
His son.
Shador. Not to mention, Travis Hunter and everybody else that made plays. But, I think he showed me a lot. And you could kind of see, like, if you know Shador Sanders, he's mentored by Tom Brady. So, like, some of the plays he made, you could kind of see, like, the mentorship of Tom Brady wearing off on him. One, he went 38 for 47 for 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. and probably about close to half of those completions was drops that could have been, completions. But all he did was take what the defense gave him. They wanted to play off coverage. He took what they gave him. If they wanted to play press with the playmakers they got on the outside, he went deep on them. I mean, you had four guys that went for over 100 yards. Dylan Edwards went for 135. Travis Hunter went for 119. Xavier Worthy went for 118. Jimmy Horn Jr. went for 117. Like they just all made plays when plays needed to be made. And I'm gonna give my respect to TCU as well, because TCU definitely fought and was in this game too. Monty Bailey had 164 yards rushing. Trey Sanders had 46 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Like they definitely balled. But man, did Shador and Travis Hunter put their name in that Heisman race, and those are two people that you got to look out for in that Heisman race, especially with Travis Hunter, a guy that went over 100 yards receiving and had a pick, and that pick was amazing. Like if you actually break down that play, Travis Hunter comes inside because the receiver runs a slant, the back comes out, he leaves off the receiver and jumps that route. Like there's not many corners. There's not many corners out there that's making a play like that. So I mean, this Colorado team, I, they definitely going bowling this year. I still don't think they're better than Oregon or USC's of the world, but they definitely are not a team to sleep on if you were sleeping on them coming into the season.
Yeah, I like that game. I picked TCU to win it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people picked TCU to win it. It wasn't really a knock on Prime at all. It wasn't a knock on Prime or what he could do, but I just thought I would be able to see it in a couple years to come, or maybe next year. I wouldn't think I would be able to see it this year, but they did come out and shock the world like he thought they was, and they handled business. I mean, you talked about the performances of them top players. They don't really have nobody else other than them top players, if you ask me. If them top players is balling and they had a little bit of a support system around them and a little bit more depth, a little bit more size, but that's going to come with more years of recruiting, especially going to the Big 12. They're going to be a very, very tough team. I think a lot of people forgetting that Shador and Travis are only sophomores.
Now Shador is like a junior or senior, I think.
Shador is a junior. Travis is a sophomore. Travis is a sophomore, and I mean,
running back is only a true freshman. Dylan Edwards is only a true freshman.
Exactly. They got a lot of young talent that they came out and played with. I mean, of course, I am going to give my hats off to TCU. I feel like TCU did play a very good game, but Colorado came out to play. They built off of Deion. Deion put that battery in their back for sure. If you ask me, I'm going to be honest, that's one performance that I feel like the coach really does get a lot more praise in this one. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think that team was going to perform like that without Deion. I'm going to be honest with you. Deion knew what he says to that team is what's going to go. They trust him. They're going to run through a wall for him. I could see them really being the team to look out for, like you said, because of Deion. I'm going to be honest. Them kids came there for Deion. They was playing for Deion. For real. Deion tried to get his name was pretty much ran through the dirt before that game. People tried to say so much about him. Now look at all of them. They all look at all the tweets and everything. I know a lot of people seeing them. They all clowning him now. And that was all for Deion. They did that for Coach Prime. That's a fact. So, I mean, I like what I seen from it, man. You touched on all the stats. I don't really got to get on them too much. But, man, it's Travis Hunter. I really feel like Travis Hunter is really going to be a big, big name to talk about in the Heisman. He's doing things that you haven't seen since Charles Woodson for Michigan. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And he's doing stuff I wish I could have did. You know what I'm saying? That's something that a lot of kids wish they could do on the college levels, play both sides. I wish I could do that right now, and I'm still playing in college. So, man, I can't wait to really see what goes on. They got Nebraska next week. I got them smacking Nebraska, but I just can't wait to see how this team really elevates.
Yeah, I mean, and like for some of the points you touched on, like you said, this team like plays for Deion and like plays like they had get their swagger for Deion, and like you can see like It's something about Deion Sanders, bro. Is like we talked about this before, bro. Once Deion was to come to you and say he wants you, like you're gonna go. It's just the way it is. Like just because like he's gonna instill in you like that swagger, that moxie, that just that flair that he played with. Like that's just how
Yeah, literally.
that's how he carries himself, and that's pretty much what this Buffalo team. That's how they carry themselves too. Like with that same swagger, like they just play free. They play for him, like, and he's just going to embrace you. And I think for Colorado is they do have some issues that need to work on defense. I don't like what I've seen from the running game. I think they need to get a little bit bigger on the D line, linebackers. I'm not really a big fan of Shiloh, to be honest. He looked kind of small compared to TCU players that like it looked like I don't want to bash Shiloh or nothing, but like when he tackled, it didn't look like he was hitting them. He looked like he was like kind of like bracing for the hit almost. But
He was
hats
the
off to
nail.
huh?
He was the nail.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he got him down though. He got him down. And that defense made a stop when it mattered the most. So hats off to them. I think, let's see what happens with them in Nebraska. They are favored -1.5 right now going into the week. So let's just see how that plays out. But to transition into another big game that happened on Thursday, Florida versus Utah. And this is another game that they played last year. And I picked Florida. I'm not gonna lie. I seen that Cam Rising was out, and I just automatically picked Florida. I didn't think like twice about it. I didn't go into depth about it. Nothing. That's on me. I should have did my homework a little bit more on who they got playing or the athletes that they got replacing Cam Rising. But I mean, they came out there and they did what they had to do. And Florida, I'm being honest, looked sloppy. Too many penalties, too many third down penalties out that, like just backing them up when time, like when to third and longs when they had third and short, it was like third down and three, you get a false start. It's a punt. You got two players on the field with the same number on. Like those are just coaching errors. Coaching errors. Like how like you got two players on the field with the same number, bro. Like, come on. How does that even
That
happen?
should never happen.
How does that even happen, bro? They should never
That's
even be on the
literally
same special
stuff.
team knowing they got the
Like,
same number. Like, it just doesn't make sense, bro. But I feel like Florida's just not there as like I don't like the quarterback Graham Mertz. He came from Wisconsin. I didn't like him at Wisconsin. I didn't really like him now. They really didn't get like his stats look okay. He did 30, he had 31 for 41, 44, 333 passing yards, a touchdown, interception. It looks okay, but when you actually watch the game and stuff like that, like it's not as good as it looks. But give it up for Utah. Utah defense stepped up in a big way. I mean, they held them to 3 points all the way to the fourth quarter. So they came out, they balled, they did what they had to do, and Utah just made plays when they had to be made. Like literally, the first play of the game, 7-yard bomb touchdown, and from there on out, like it was just Utah defense feasting on Florida's offense, and Utah playmakers made plays when they had to be made.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, that's a fact. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't really too impressed with this game at all. I'm gonna be honest. Offensively, really. I mean, defensively, Utah came out to play defensively. Florida on both sides of the ball just didn't look good. They did not look right. They didn't look like how a Power Five team preps during the offseason to play that game one. They did not look like that, especially when you know you're coming out to play Utah. They didn't look like they came out to play at all. I'm gonna be honest though, Utah didn't really look too impressive to me. I know they're missing their star quarterback. That's always gonna be a problem when it comes to offense. But offensively, they got outplayed by Florida and still won. Like that says something on how bad Florida's looking right now. Like that does not look good. I'm gonna be honest. Like you got outplayed almost 100 yards by a team that had 13 rushing yards the whole game. Like I'm gonna be honest, Utah they need some help in the DB position. They really do. They need some help in the DB position. But their front seven looks great. This front seven looks great. They make tackles. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest, Florida was just stepping on their own feet. If you ask me, I feel like it could have definitely been a way better game because, like I said, I didn't see anything very, very impressive from Utah. I didn't. So Florida was just stepping on their own feet. I feel like that was just an L that they lost on their own, truthfully.
I mean, when you look at it too, like just look at the possessions, how all the possessions for Florida ended just in the second half. You know, when the game, like when you need plays to be made, they went in the second half, interception, turnover on downs, touchdown, turnover on downs. Like they're not converting when they need to. Like you turn the ball on downs over 3 times and and throw an interception all in the second half where you're supposed to be at your best in a sense, first game jitters are out now. Like you're playing football, you're back to playing football, you're back into the rhythm.
Yeah,
As
facts.
as a coach, you done seen what Utah did, what you kind of know what adjustments you got to make and all that other stuff. And they just didn't make them. And when it came down to converting when they need to convert, they couldn't do anything. So I mean, I'm Florida. I don't think they're in a good position. Utah, it wasn't their best win, but at the same time, they didn't even have their starting quarterback. Their starting quarterback's coming off an ACL tear, back in the Rose Bowl, so he should be back soon. But yeah, man, that just wasn't the best look for Florida. I don't know. As a Florida Gator fan, how do you feel good like for the season after looking at that and the coaching after looking at that game?
Yeah,
But
facts, Marshall. How did you feel about that?
where
'Cause I
Marshall,
know you're
Marshall, you
about to
lucky.
watch this.
Marshall lucky he ain't come on here, man. Marshall ducking that smoke. He said we wanted to bring Marshall back on, but he talked about he got technical difficulties. I think he just heard that Florida looked so bad and Florida State looked good. So I'll be hurt too if I was a Florida fan, knowing that I got probably the
Oh yeah,
fourth best team in the state. But
and I forgot to tell y'all too. My boy Day is in Puerto Rico living his best life right now, enjoying himself. So we got to leave my boy alone right now, let him do his thing on vacation. So that's why only me and Lil's here running the show. But Marshall did duck the smoke.
yes, sir. Let's transition to our last game that we're going to touch on. The Battle of the Carolinas, North Carolina versus South Carolina. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I still don't know how I feel about Drake May, bro. I really don't. The
Neither.
North Carolina did win that game 31-17, but Drake May had 24 for 32, 269, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And he had some I'm not gonna lie, he had some flashes of like what NFL teams would like to see. That's why they will put him at the second best, second overall player in the draft, all that other stuff. But in my opinion, I don't think he is. I don't think he's good enough. Like I said this, I think last week I said this that he has some of Zach Wilson and he kind of got some flashy plays, but you got the inconsistencies as well. And I'm gonna give it to him. They did make plays when they needed to be made, and I'm gonna say South Carolina did not execute when they should have. It was like hand in hand with them. So like from that standpoint, like I don't know like how to like Spencer Rattler, like he had good stats, but he just couldn't make plays when it needed to be made either, bro. But
Good stats.
good,
My
yeah,
boy
like
ain't throw a single touchdown.
yeah, the stats look good, but you didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And like, what am I supposed to take down? Like, what am I supposed to take away from that? Especially like I always look. What I like to look at, bro, really is like, especially the first game of the season. First half you kind of figure it out. Second half, like I said, first game jitters is gone. Like you're back to playing football. Like this is real football again. Let's make the adjustments. Let's do something with it. But South Carolina comes out there second half, turnover on downs, punt, field goal, turnover on downs, turnover on downs, turnover on downs. Like, what am I supposed to do with that, bro? Like you can't win a game. You're not going to win a game. The games are really won in the second half. You want to win a game, you got to win it in the second half. And Drake May did just enough to win that game. He comes out, scores 2 touchdowns on the first half and his first 2 possessions, and that was pretty much the ball game. Drake May, after those 2 touchdowns, threw the next 2 drives, he threw 2 interceptions. So South Carolina had the opportunity. Spencer Rattler just didn't take advantage of them. But all in all, I'm gonna just say like I'm really not that high on Drake May. I don't think he's the second best quarterback. Um, and I'm gonna be honest, like I put Bo Nix over him as of right now. I put Bo Nix and Michael Penix over him as of right now.
Fumbo Knicks over him is mad crazy. That's a big bias answer if you ask me, but
I'm not biased, bro. Like look at the
I
body.
like Bo Nix. I like Bo Nix.
Look at
So
the
I'm not.
body of
It's not
work,
a
bro.
shot at Bo Nix. It's not. It's
This
not
is
a
the
shot
thing.
at Bo Nix. I like him. I do like Bo Nix. All right, it's not a shot at him. I swear to God. But I feel like it's a little too crazy. I could compare them. I could compare them, and I would say, that's a good battle. I might want to see them play against each other if they had even matched teams. But off of them.
Here's my thing though. Before you go ahead, this is my thing. Like on a quarterback comparison, I don't like these quarterbacks that comes out of nowhere off the 1 year hype and stuff like that. Like Drake May had a solid season last year, and like now he's like the hype. He's the next like best thing. No, I like seasoned players who've done it for a while. I like Drake May. I like Caleb Williams who's been doing it. Even like there's a reason why I'm not a big fan on Anthony Richardson. That's why I wasn't a big fan on Zach Wilson. Players like that. Players that you just see the talent and all this. No, I like to see the players who have done it, who have had success in college and stuff like that. That's just my thing, That's
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. But back to this game. I mean, I had South Carolina taking this. I was never. If you know me, I was never the big Spencer Rattler fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I felt like he was always arrogant. He was always too cocky. I mean, what happened to him at Oklahoma, I feel like was just a result of that. He went to South Carolina, but myself, I love redemption stories. When he went to South Carolina, he beat Tennessee. He actually put up good numbers. They started calling him the cock general, which is mad crazy. But but I love redemption stories, bro. So I like to see what I was seeing from him. I was hoping he was gonna come out and win this game. Stats look pretty good when you talk about X's and O's and yards. Cool. But the name of the game on offense is putting the ball in the end zone and scoring points, which he did not do at all. Your team, the offense held up for a good first half. Y'all went into halftime winning. Why couldn't you build off that, bro? You're a quarterback at a Division I program. You've been there for 2 years. You're a leader on that team. I'm sorry, bro. I got taught this in high school, leaving high school. You are at the age where you know what's going to work. You're playing the game. Your coaches aren't playing the game. I'm sorry. 90% of top quarterbacks and their leaders on their team are going to make suggestions by the second half. Are going to tell their head coach or whoever's calling the plays, the OC,
I
going
mean,
to tell them.
if you want to be real too, like let's be real. As a QB coach, as an OC, most of the times you go to your quarterback. Hey, what are you seeing out there?
Literally.
Like, how do you feel? Like, what do you think is working? What's not working? Like, coaches see it from above standard, but like they also get the input of the quarterback. Like, all the best quarterbacks give their input. Like, if you know football and you see the game, you playing the game, you know what you're seeing out there. You know who you could take advantage of and what mismatches.
Exactly. Especially in the second half. You don't play the whole first half already. You got to know the team by then. All the good ones do. So I'm gonna be honest. I'm giving it really a 50-50 shot on most of that's on the OC. Are you serious? I mean, the stats look pretty good. And what the stats say is that he went out and ran your game plan perfect the way you wanted it to be ran. The problem was your game plan didn't put the ball in the end zone. That's what it tells me. I mean, 30 for 39 for 353, that's not bad at all. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. You had a receiver out there that went for 9 receptions and 178 yards. That's good. But no touchdowns, no points. That's not how you're going to win games. That's not how you're gonna win games. I'm gonna be honest, and like you said, bro, I didn't really see nothing really too impressive from North Carolina either. And not really from Drake May. I mean, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 269. Cool. I mean, those is I'm gonna be honest with you, those are mediocre stats when you talk about being the second quarterback taken in the draft. If you ask me, I'm sorry. Yeah, you did see some NFL flashes. You did see some good things. But I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. If I want you to, if you're gonna come to my team and change the team, you're gonna have to do a little bit more. You gotta have to protect the football more. You gotta throw more. You gotta throw more TDs than you're throwing interceptions. I'm sorry, and that's just what it is. That's what I'm looking at, and that's what I see. So I mean, hats off to getting a win. Beat the SEC school, cool. I didn't think South Carolina was that bad. Also, didn't think they was that good. But y'all came out, y'all got the dub. That's a good one. I mean, I just hope I see more from Drake May, and he lives up to. I just don't feel like he lived up to that talk this game. I don't.
Yeah, no, I don't think he lived up to the talk too. But you kind of like went out the OC, but I gotta put on the players too, bro. When you turn a ball over on downs, 4 possessions in the second half alone, that's terrible, bro. That comes down to execution, bro.
Why you? Hold up, wait. But who's calling that play? Who's making that? Who's calling those shots?
Players still got to make the plays,
Gotta,
bro.
bro, look. Somebody calling the shots. Somebody's calling the shots. I don't think Spencer Rattler was out there like, nah, we going for this again. We going for this again. After your second time not getting it, why are you not punting the ball? Why are you not kicking field goals? I mean, you're a coach. I can understand if y'all got 2 turnovers on downs, that's cool. You got 4, or was it 5 to end the game with?
They have 4 in the second half. They have 4 altogether.
4 altogether. I thought they did 1 in the first, but 4 altogether. 4 in the second half at that. When you put up 3 points in the second half, like you needed points. Y'all didn't get blown out. It was 31-17. It wasn't a blowout.
I think that and just the times that they took, like he took sacks, like he took sacks in the worst positions too. Sometimes you got to know how to just to get the ball away so you don't get sacked, just so you can have a more manageable third down or a fourth down, stuff like that as well. And I put that on the veteran quarterback. Sometimes it's playmaking, sometimes it's execution as well. But sometimes you got to know just how can I get this ball out just so I can live another day and play another down to give us a better chance at converting it to get a first down. Sometimes it comes down to that as well because we see it all the time of like, bro, why would you take a sack there? Get rid of the ball, just eat it. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah, facts.
And sometimes you have that safety belt. You just throw it a little too high because you usually have some type of receiver on the sideline somewhere. All you gotta do is throw it in a direction somewhere. So it comes down to that.
It
But
does.
to move on, NFL season officially starts on Thursday. So we're gonna give our prediction on who's gonna make the playoffs, who's winning in each division, and all in all, who's gonna win the Super Bowl. Dennis, take it away. Who you got?
All right, so it was kind of hard for me. I went week by week. I did all of my picks week by week, win by win. I took it slow with this one. But my 2 number 1 seeds, I got the Chiefs and the Eagles. They're both getting the first round buys. For the NFC, I'm gonna go NFC first. For my 2, I got San Fran. For my 3, I got the Lions. For my 4, I got the Saints. For my 5, I got the Cowboys. For my 6, I got the Bears. And for my 7, yeah, I got the Bears. And for my 7, I got the Seahawks. For the NFC, for the AFC, for my 2, I got the Ravens. For my 3, I got the Dolphins. For my 4, I got the Jaguars. For my 5, I got the Bengals. For my 6, I got the Browns. And for my 7, a team that I feel like just snuck in. the Steelers. So that's gonna be my wild card. For my wild card weekend without the first seeds, I got the Bengals is gonna be playing the Bengals are gonna be taking on the Jaguars. I got the Bengals coming out with that one. Moving on. Browns are gonna be playing the Dolphins. I got the Dolphins moving on. Ravens are gonna be playing the Steelers. I got the Ravens moving on. And Lamar Jackson getting his second playoff win ever. In the NFC, I got the Cowboys gonna be playing the Saints. I got the Cowboys moving on. As much as I would have hoped the Saints was moving on, because that would have been an easy win for the Eagles next one. I gotta be realistic here, man. I got the Cowboys moving on. For the Bears versus the Lions, I got the Lions moving on. I just don't think that Justin Fields is gonna be able to get a playoff win at his second year. I feel like they're gonna get there. I feel like he's gonna get them there. They bought around a lot of pieces for him. I feel like he's gonna get them to the playoffs. But I don't see him getting a playoff win. I don't. Especially not over Jared Goff, who's been there before. I'm gonna be honest. And for the Seahawks versus 49ers, I got the 49ers taking that. On to the divisional round. It's going to be Miami versus the Ravens. I got Miami taking it. I got Bengals versus the Chiefs. Man, it's the invitational, bro. Gotta go with the Chiefs. I got the Lions versus the Niners. Got the Niners taking that. And I got the Eagles versus the Cowboys. And you know, the Cowboys is not taking that over the Eagles. Not in the playoffs. It's not happening. Especially not with Dak. Come on, man. I got the Eagles moving on. The conference championship round. We got Miami versus the Chiefs. And we got the 49ers versus the Eagles. Long story short, the Super Bowl is just going to be a repeat for last year. Go ahead, bro. Let me hear it.
Who wins it?
You know who won it. It ain't gonna be the repeat from last year though. That win is not repeating. Nah, man, I got the Eagles taking it. And I'm not gonna lie, I got the Eagles actually winning by like a good 10. I don't think it's gonna be a field goal win. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I feel like they're gonna come out with some more fire.
Man, I'm not. Can we talk about a bias list? If we ain't see a bias list before, but
Bro, what?
The
Eagles is on the top of everybody's list. Come on, it's just so happened that I'm a fan, so so it's the problem when I pick them.
Not even just that, like the Bears making the playoffs, bro. Come on, bro. They're not ready for the playoffs yet, bro.
You don't think so? I think they have a chance, bro. I told you I went week by week. Hold on, let me see what I got them finishing at.
Let's see. Let's hear this, man. The Bears are just no, hell no, bro. I don't see a way the Bears make the playoffs, bro. They're just not good enough yet.
Don't think so?
No, hell no.
I got the Bears finishing 10-7.
So you think a team?
I got the I'll do the top 7 right now. I got the Eagles finishing 13-3, the 49ers finishing 13-4, the Lions finishing 12-5.
How does the Eagles finish 13-3 with 17 games?
I'm tripping. I forgot to add that one. 14-3. I'm tripping. And I got the 49ers 13-4. I got the Lions 12-5. I got the Saints 10-7. I got the Cowboys 11-6, and I got the Bears 10-7.
I don't know how you got. Okay. All right. Sure. Um, let me just run through
Of
my.
course, I threw a couple upsets in there. Don't think I just went straight off of what we're gonna see from week one, bro. Injuries happen, all that. I threw like a good couple upsets
So
in there.
my question is, who's the Eagles? Who's the three teams that you got the Eagles losing to?
The Chiefs, the Cowboys, and the Jets. The Chief no, the Dolphins. The Chiefs, Cowboys, and Dolphins.
So you think? Okay. Okay. Sure. If you say so, Eagles fan. But anyway, let me
Here we
give you,
go.
let me give you my list. Let's start off with the AFC. AFC number one, I got the Chiefs. Number two, I got the Ravens winning the AFC North. I got the Dolphins winning the AFC East, and then I got the Jags winning the AFC South. For my wild card teams, I got the Bengals making it in at the fifth seed. I got the Jets making it in as a sixth seed, and then I got the Steelers sneaking in as the seventh seed. For the NFC, I got Cowboys winning the NFC East and getting that number one overall seed. I got the 49ers taking number two seed, Saints getting number three seed, Vikings getting number four seed, Eagles getting five, Lions getting six, and the Seahawks getting seven. And then when you look at the matchups of the Ravens versus the Steelers, I got the Ravens taking that one. You got the Dolphins versus the Jets. I got the Jets taking that one. And then you got the
What?
Jags. Yes. I just Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. I'm taking him over that Tua Tagovailoa in the playoffs. I'm not gonna lie. This is just barring injury, anything else. I got Aaron Rodgers, taking that one
Nah, honestly,
in
that's not
Miami.
an outrageous take. That's not an
Yeah,
outrageous take.
I got them taking it
Late
in
in the
Miami,
season, yeah.
and I got the Jags beating the Bengals. Yes, I got the Jags beating.
Honestly, I wanted to take that too. But I was like, I can't go against Joe Brr. Last time I went against Joe Brr, I lost my money.
Nah, I think the Jags get it done this year. I'm kind of high on the Jags. I'm not gonna lie. For the NFC, I got the 49ers versus Seahawks. I got the 49ers taking that one. I got the Saints versus the Lions. I got the Saints taking that one. And then Vikings versus Eagles. I got the Eagles taking that.
Ooh, you got the Saints. You got the
I
Saints.
really don't believe in the Lions. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a
I
big
know you.
fan
I
of the
know we
Lions.
talked about this before.
I think they're kind of overrated. I do think they sneak in the playoffs just because of the teams that they beat. I think they're gonna beat the Bears. Um, I really don't see much from Green Bay this year. So
I don't think I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it's a bad take with the Saints beating them. I think it's a little. It sounds a little more crazier to me because it sounds crazy with the Saints getting the playoff win.
yeah, I mean that would be a favorable matchup for the Saints in the playoffs. Because I
Yeah,
also
it would
I
be.
also have them, having the third best. Well, I have them being the third seed in the conference, so they're gonna get a more favorable matchup than I got the Eagles being the fifth seed, so
Yeah.
that's a more favorable matchup for sure. But when you go to the divisional round, you got Chiefs versus Jets, taking the Chiefs over the Jets in that one. Ravens versus the Jags. I got Lamar making it to the conference
What?
championship for the first time. Yes. And on the other side, I got Cowboys versus Eagles. I think the Cowboys get it done at AT&T Stadium.
With Dak? Are you being realistic right now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my
At
god.
AT&T Stadium, they're going to be home. Like this is barring injury or anything like that. I think with the healthy Turner Pollard, the run game that they're gonna have, I don't think it's gonna be so much on Dak. I think CD takes a step forward. I think Trayvon Diggs, Michael Parsons, and them boys take a step forward. They got Stephon Gilmore as well. So like I just don't think the matchup. The matchup is a lot more favorable, especially it being in Dallas as well for them. And then you got 49ers versus Saints. I got the 49ers winning that one. And then you go to the conference championship, or aka the Arrowhead Invitational. I got the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs beating the Ravens to make it back to the Super Bowl. And then I got the Cowboys beating the 49ers at home. I think Dak finally gets that lick back. I do not believe in Brock Purdy. I think the Brock Purdy hype train is not going to happen. I don't think Kyle Shanahan, that hype train, It's not going to happen. They just can't get it done when it's time to get it done. And I'm not when I'm talking about the Cowboys winning, I'm not saying it's because of Dak. I'm saying Dak is not going to be a problem. That's all it is. Dak just doesn't have to be a problem. The team is good enough. The roster is good enough. You got CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, you got Tony Pollard, you got that defense, top 5 defense in the NFL. Just don't be the problem. And I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I think Dak's going to, make the plays that need to be made and not turn the ball over. I think he will cut down on those turnovers because some of those turnovers wasn't even his fault, but we could get into that another time. And then I got the Chiefs versus Cowboys in Las Vegas with the Chiefs winning it all and being back-to-back champs.
All right, that's not too bad.
Anything you got to say to that list?
I could jack it. The only thing I'm not jacking it is, I'm not jacking the Cowboys beating the Eagles, so I ain't even gonna get on that one. But I'm definitely not jacking them beating the 49ers.
You don't think I don't believe in Brock Purdy. I don't even know. I think
if he got it done the first time, what makes you think he can't get it done the second time?
He's not going to get it done when it matters. I'm gonna be honest. I think there's going to be a book on Brock Purdy now. That's the thing. When Brock Purdy came in, he was very new. They really couldn't. They didn't know what Brock Purdy was or what they would be or how are they going to use him. Now you going into the season, Brock Purdy. Everybody knows that Brock Purdy is the quarterback QB1. You have to game for Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan, and I think.
But you said the same thing about Jalen Hurts.
That's different. And reason why that's different is because Jalen Hurts was an athletic quarterback. If Jalen Hurts was a pure pocket passer and he could not use his legs the same way Brock Purdy can't use his legs, then we'll be having another discussion right now. But the thing that made the Eagles offense so dynamic and Jalen Hurts so good was his running ability. Let's be real. If it wasn't for Jalen Hurts' running ability, a lot less stuff would happen. You don't have to account for him in a run game. So now, you can worry about Miles Sanders more. Maybe you don't need to stack the box so much because, Miles Sanders is good, not great, but, stuff like that. You don't have to account for Jalen Hurts and his leg, and you really do not have to account for Brock Purdy and his legs or anything like that. And like I said, that Cowboys defense, I'm high on Michael Parsons this upcoming season. He bulked up a little bit. He's going to hand in the dirt all the time. No more linebacker plays, nothing like that. I love their corners. I love their DBs at like Malik Hooker, Xavier Woods, Jaron Kearse. You got Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs. I got him taking another step this year. Like they just got a lot out there, and I think this is if they're going to get it done, I think this is their time to get it done. I don't have them winning the Super Bowl. Obviously, I still got the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. I think they repeat running it back, but if it was any time to get it done, now would be the time to get it done for the Cowboys to even make a sniff a conference championship.
I honestly agree with that one because I've been saying that I feel like they have the second best roster in the league. That's my opinion. But you say different, but in my opinion, they got the second best roster in the league. So yeah, you're right. If it is a time to get something done,
now
really ain't gonna get no better than this.
So I think, and with Mike McCarthy calling plays now, I here's the thing. I don't think Mike McCarthy is the best play caller, best coach, anything like that. But I think he's better at situational football than what Kellen Moore was. Kellen Moore liked to air the ball out, get the ball down the field, score touchdowns, that kind of thing. And he's gonna love that with Justin Hurts, Justin Herbert, because that's a prototypical big arm quarterback. You can throw the ball all over the field, but that's not Dak. You got to run the ball. You have to establish a run game. You
got to set him up.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I think Mike McCarthy would be better at that as far as situational football and not putting the defense in a bad spot to rely on the defense compared to Kellen Moore, who wanted to air the ball out all the time. So I think that is going to help out Dak and that offense flourish just a little bit more as well.
Yeah, you're right.
But to switch on to our next topic, NFL awards. We're going to talk about MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Offense and Defensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, and Coach of the Year. I'm going to start this one off. For my comeback player of the year, I'm gonna go with Odell. I think I think this is the best opportunity for Odell to showcase his talent and to showcase he's still one of the ones. You know, I'm not gonna say I call it how it is. That's how I'm gonna say it. I call it how it is. But I think this situation for Odell, he can flourish in, especially, with the pass game opening up just a little bit more and Baltimore with, Lamar, hopefully he's back to what he was before. I like him as a passer. You got Mark Andrews, you got Zay Flowers, you got Rashad Bateman. So I think that's gonna open up the field for him just a little bit more, just to make some plays and stuff like that. So I got him being my comeback player of the year. And as far as coach of the year, I'm gonna give it to Mike McDaniels. I got Mike McDaniels being my coach of the year of the Miami Dolphins. I think, and this is contingent on Tua's health. As long as Tua's healthy, I think that Miami team can be a very dangerous team and a matchup problem for any team. And it starts with Mike McDaniel coming from that, Kyle Shanahan tree. But the offense that they run, getting their players into space, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. When you talk about that defense, you got Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, you got Jalen Ramsey, who's going to come back later in the year. You still got Xavier Howard. I think this is a team that's set up, to do big things, and especially in arguably one of the hardest divisions in football this upcoming year. I think he has a real chance to make some noise and become coach of the year. As far as defensive rookie of the year, I got to go into Will Anderson. He's just been one of the ones. He's been one of the ones for the past few years. Even in like when he was in college, he was defensive player of the year twice, back to back.
Yeah.
And D'Amico Ryans is going to put him in a good position for him to flourish off the edge and make plays. I don't think the Texans will be a very that good of a football team this year. I think they still ways away from competing for anything big, but they got a foundation now, and I think that starts and ends with Will Anderson on that defensive side of the ball. I think he's going to set the tone and be that one bright spot for them on that defensive side of the ball. And for offensive rookie of the year, I got Bijan Robinson. I just think he's going to have ample opportunity, especially with they're going to lean on him heavy, especially with having a top 10 offensive line in the league. You have a young quarterback in Desmond Ridder. You want to take some of that pressure off of him. The best way to take that pressure off of him is getting the ball into the hands of your playmakers, and that being Bijan Robinson being arguably one of the best playmakers already. No knock on Kyle Pitts, but he did have a down season last year. Drake London, I think he had a pretty good season, but there's still more to be desired. I think they lean more on his run game, because we've seen what Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson did in that offense. So I can only imagine what Bijan can do. He's a better running back than both those guys. So I think he's going to make a lot of plays. For decent defensive player of the year, I think I've been on this guy for a while now on a few of these podcasts. I got Micah Parsons. I think this year he does it. Like I said, he's going to be full-time edge rusher. No more linebacker, no more dropping in the coverage for real. He's going to be attacking the quarterback. And I think his presence is going to be felt week in and week out. People kind of like, I think what hurt him last year when it came to, because it was always like a race, but what hurt him last year is that he's not always rushing the passer at the end of the day. And I think that this year, coming into this year, he's going to be rushing the passer, making plays. And, I got Cowboys being the number one seed. And for that to happen, it's going to have to be Michael Parsons having a defensive player of the year type season this year. For offensive player of the year, I got Tyreek Hill. I think you got to remember, bro, Tyreek Hill had 1,700 yards and Tua did not play the whole season. You had Skylar Thompson. You had Teddy Bridgewater playing in that season.
That's a fact.
So it's and this is all contingent on Tua's health for Mike McDaniels and Tyreek Hill. But if Tua's healthy, Mike McDaniels can, draw the plays up. Tyreek Hill is going to execute them. That's just how I see it right now. And it's kind of like it's been this way for the past few years, especially with receivers. Justin Jefferson was it last year, Cooper Cup the year before. You know, as long as Tua Tagovailoa is there, I think Tyreek Hill is going to have a very, very big season this year. And for my MVP, I got Trevor Lawrence. I think,
Ooh, ooh.
yes,
I like
sir.
that. Nah, I like that.
Yes,
I like
sir.
that. I like
Yes,
that.
sir. So this is going to be year 2 for Trevor Lawrence in that offense with Dougie P. We've seen what year 2 for Carson Wentz looked like under Dougie P as well. He almost won MVP under Dougie P. I think Trevor Lawrence is better than Carson Wentz. You get Calvin Ridley in that offense now. Now you got a bona fide number 1 receiver. You got Christian Kirk, who took a step last year, who's going to be a very, very solid number 2. You got Evan Ingram. As long as he stay healthy, he's going to be a weapon as well on tight end. As a tight end, you got Travis Etienne out the backfield as well. You know the connection that those two had since college. And Dougie P. I think Dougie P is just going to put Trevor Lawrence in a position to make plays and to win MVP. So I got Trevor Lawrence winning MVP this season. Not gonna lie.
I like that last one. I really like that last one. It makes a lot of sense. You covered that nice. I really like that. I'm not gonna lie. I like that. But I'm gonna get into mine because I liked all your picks. All your picks was valid. I liked them all. I'm gonna get into mine though. Um, Mine, I feel like, as me with the one with the hot takes, I feel like I got a couple that's controversial, but I feel like they're pretty valid. They're pretty valid. Especially after doing the research, I honestly looked at how a lot of players was looking at camp and everything else, seeing how a lot would go. And my comeback player of the year is gonna be Cooper Kupp. I feel like Cooper Kupp is still that guy. I wasn't here to do my top 10 wide receivers. Cooper Kupp.
Here's my thing. I think he's out for like the first month, isn't he?
Nah, he's in camp. He's been practicing.
No, he got the hamstring injury. He's gonna miss
What?
some. You didn't know about that?
No, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he's gonna miss some time. I think that's gonna hurt him, bro.
No, don't cut none of this either. No,
Let me
I
let
did
me
not know about that. I really didn't. I
let
did not
me.
know about that.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced. Yeah, I know he's injured. Like I know like there's a possibility that he's probably not gonna be there for week 1. He's probably gonna miss some time.
It's all right, because that's why I had a backup. I had a backup. And truthfully, my backup as my comeback player of the year is Damar Hamlin. And the reason I say Damar Hamlin is not going to be for the stats. It's not going to be for anything that he does too great. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I like Damar Hamlin as a player. I feel like he's pretty solid, especially he's not like the top guy, but I feel like he's pretty solid to have in your defense. But I feel like just the talk around it, how everybody's been acting. If he plays a full season and has a pretty decent season and the Bills go far, I could see him getting it just off of the hype. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really see him putting up crazy numbers or being a top guy, but I mean, you see how everybody been acting about him. I mean, I'm happy that he's alive. He's doing well. I'm happy that he's coming back. God bless him. He got another chance. And I feel like that's going to give him the reason that he gets that comeback player of the year. I mean, I'm going to be honest, Alex Smith wasn't that spectacular, but he still got it. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like when it comes to comeback player of the year, I feel like it doesn't really go too much on the stats or what you did. I'm going to be honest, when it comes down to comeback player of the year, I feel like it's really how you went out and how you came back. That's really all. I'm be honest. I like the Odell pick that you had, though. I really do like that pick. I really do like that pick. I just feel like he wouldn't get it because he's been forgotten. I feel like Odell's been forgotten lately, if you ask me. But for my coach of the year, and I feel like you're definitely not going to like this one, but I like it, I got Dan Campbell. The reason I got Dan Campbell is because I do initially feel like the Lions are going to get their first playoff win under him. for a while. And the Lions haven't won a playoff game in a long, long time. I think they have the longest streak of not winning a playoff game, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably. I think like since like 2002 or something like that.
Yeah. So I think they're going to finally get their first playoff win under him. If the seeds go the right way and they get a favorable matchup, I feel like they will get it. And if you ask me, to bring a team that hasn't won a playoff game in that long and to finally get it done, you really do deserve that. You do. I don't feel like Dan Campbell's the best coach. I don't got him as a top 5 coach, but I do feel like I really feel like he's gonna live up to that hype. I feel like he's gonna live up to the hype that the Lions are. I don't feel like they're gonna exceed the hype, but I feel like they're gonna live up to it at least and be a pretty decent team. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I wanted to be very biased and put Jalen Carter. I really did want to, because I feel like he's gonna wreak havoc his rookie year. But I'm sorry, I haven't went against him since he was at Bama, and I'm not going against him now. Will Anderson is that guy, and he's gonna be a home wrecker for time as long as he keeps his head on straight and he stays healthy. Will Anderson is gonna play a long time, and he's gonna be a great player in this league. And I feel like he's gonna start it off with that Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I feel like that's gonna be his first accolade that he gets as an NFL player, and it's just gonna be light and day from them. He's gonna just be a dog, and he's gonna be somebody that you watch out for. I don't see him leaving Houston unless something bad happens, because he's not somebody that you want to get rid of. So that's my Defensive Rookie of the Year. My Offensive Rookie of the Year, I got Bijan Robinson, just like you. I feel like he's gonna be the Offensive Rookie of the Year mainly because of the workload that he's gonna be presented with. And if you look at Bijan Robinson, if you watch him play, if you just look at his body type, he's built for some workload. I'm sorry. He's built for some workload. He's like that. He's like that. I mean, I've liked watching him since I've watched him since Ohio State was in his top 2, them in Texas when he was at South Point Catholic. I got a chance to play with some of them South Point Catholic guys that he played with. They all confirmed that he's a dog. Watching high school highlights, he's a dog. He gets to Texas and just takes over, beats that guy since he's a freshman, then leaves early. I mean, there's nothing. He's destined to do what he's doing. He's destined to do exactly what he's doing, and I feel like he's going to be a great running back. Now, seeing the stat predictions and all that other stuff for him, and him being, I don't know what they talking about, he's going to be like one of the top players next year and all that. I think people need to relax. Just relax just a little bit, bro. Let the man play a game first. You feel me? Like, this is the NFL we talking about, okay? I'm sorry. This is the NFL. It's not a 5-star recruit. This is the NFL. All right? We need to relax just a little bit, all right? But I do got him as my Offensive Rookie of the Year. My defensive Player of the Year, I also got Michael Parsons. As an Eagles fan, that is the only player on the Cowboys that I am scared of. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to see Michael Parsons, bro. I don't like seeing him. He's fast enough to catch Jalen Hurts. That's scary. All right, Jalen Hurts is not slow. He's a pretty fast quarterback, and he's fast enough to catch that man. When you have a favorable team that has a running quarterback, and there's a defensive player that can catch your running quarterback, that actually puts a little fear in your heart. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, Michael Parsons, bro, he's been in the league tearing it up since he got there. And like you said, I feel like with him going full hand in the ground, that is very scary for 90% of the tackles in the league. That is very scary for 100% of quarterbacks in the league. You don't want to get hit by Michael Parsons. He's too fast. He's too big. And I really see him really taking that jump. And I'm going to be honest, I got 20-plus sacks from him next year. That's me. Full hand in the ground, I got 20-plus sacks from Michael Parsons next year. And I'm just hoping – I know he's going to get one against the Eagles, but please just don't let him get more than one. That's it. My Offensive Player of the Year. Now, this is when I feel like it's going to get real spicy. I got Garrett Wilson. I feel like Garrett Wilson, coming off that season he had with his shaky quarterbacks, with Mike White. Mike White wasn't the best, but he wasn't the worst, but he definitely ain't nowhere near towards the best. And having Zach Wilson and still going out there putting up almost 1,100 yards with almost 90 catches and getting offensive rookie of the year. You come back and now you got a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing to you. And from what it's looking like, the connection is already there. They're already working out together. They're already getting along. Everything looks real smooth. I feel like Garrett Wilson is going to take that big jump and be a top 5 receiver next year. I feel like that's going to end up happening, and he's going to bring home that offensive rookie of the year. I mean, not rookie of the year, that offensive player of the year. I do like your pick. Your pick correlates with mine just a little bit. He had a lot more yards, though. That was crazy. But I do like Garrett Wilson coming back and running it back with the accolade of being offensive player of the year. And for my MVP, I got Lamar Jackson. You gave that man weapons. You gave that man weapons, and he won it without weapons before. You gave that man weapons now. Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Lamar about to turn up. Lamar is about to turn up. You gave that man OBJ, Rashad Bateman. I'm throwing him out the window because he keeps getting hurt. And you gave him arguably the best rookie receiver in the game. And he already got a top 3 tight end. You gave that man weapons, and he can run the ball. He has a pretty good, like, I like this offense. I really, really like this offense. I feel like they need a couple things I talked about this before. They need a couple things that need to be established as far as who's going to be the number 1 receiver and everything else. I feel like they don't have that established yet because nobody played. All right. Week 1 is on the way. But Lamar, man, I really do feel like Lamar is going to turn it up, and Lamar is going to definitely be the number 2 quarterback next year. I'm not taking nobody over Patty. I'm sorry. Can't take nobody over him. But I really do feel like Lamar is going to be the 2nd best quarterback next year.
I like it.
And take home that MVP.
I like it. I mean, I respect it for sure. I don't think I really have too much pushback. I think the Garrett Wilson one is kind of out there.
I knew you was gonna bring that one up.
I could see it though. I mean, I could see it. I just don't know if I'm that high on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets for Garrett Wilson to have the season he's going to need to have.
You know, you want to know the other thing that I put into that? He's going head to head with arguably the 2nd best corner in the league every day. He's gonna beat every corner he plays against. That's not named Pat Surtain.
Oh no, he's gonna be nice. I don't know, man. I have my reservations about the Jets sometimes, man. I just don't know. I got my reservations. I think it's more about the Jets than him, but
I definitely see what you say. I understand.
Yeah, I just have my reservations.
I feel like the Jets don't got no middle ground. I feel like either they're gonna be really good or really bad.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. But those are our picks for our award winners coming up for this season. Next, we're going to get into our top running backs. We only got top running backs and top quarterbacks. We're going to get into our top 10 running backs and who we think are going to be the top 10 running backs this season. Dennis, start this one off, man. Let me see who you got.
Starting this one off. Man, I feel like you put me in there. So, for my top 10. I'm back. For my top 10 running backs going into the 2023 NFL season, I got at number 10, I got Austin Eckler. Now, for me, I'm going to be honest, I talk a lot about Austin Eckler, and not really in a good way, just because he's not a solid rusher, if you ask me. But the production he does for his team, you can't deny that. That's not something you could take away from him. He still does a lot for that Chargers team. He still is a key player on that offense. And if he's going, they're going to miss him. So that's why I feel like he's one of those guys where with this market that's declining and a lot of people are acting like they don't need running backs, he's a running back on the Chargers that they need and that they're going to miss if he's gone. And it's not a lot of running backs in the league that they're acting like that's what it is. So I feel like just for that reason, he deserves to be on this top 10. That's why he's at number 10. At number 9, this guy right here, he's the 2nd-year player. And I really like what I've seen from him in his rookie year. And that's Travis Etienne. I feel like Travis Etienne is going to have a huge year in 2023. I mean, I feel like adding a couple pieces to that offense and another year under Dougie P, having your college quarterback, I mean, everything's going right for him. On top of having a year where he already rushed for almost 1,200 yards. I mean, Travis Etienne, he's showing that he could be a back in this league. It's actually his third year, but he was hurt his whole freshman season. So his second year, this is why I'm gonna say that it's going into his second year. But I mean, it seems like him being hurt really didn't mean anything. And he came back, showed that he really didn't have no knee problem at all, and he did his thing. So I really do like Travis Etienne. I feel like he's gonna really bounce up, and he's one of my sleepers to actually be a top 5 running back if the cards play right for him. At number 8, I got Dalvin Cook. Now, I'm not going to lie. Dalvin Cook is a top 10 running back in my eyes at all times. He would have been higher if he was still on the Vikings. I'm going to be honest with you. The reason I got him so low is because he's going into a system where now he is not going to say running back by committee, but now he has to share the rock. Compared to being on the Vikings, he was in there 90% of the time, and he really didn't have to share too much. He's going into a team where, Breece Hall is coming off an injury, but we all know what Breece Hall is capable of, and he's still a dude. So they're going to want to get him the rock just as much as they're going to want to give Dalvin Cook the rock. And Breece Hall has been there longer. He understands the plays, everything else. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Breece Hall is still the starter. But if you ask me, Dalvin Cook is still one of the more talented running backs in this league. So that's why I got him at number 8. At number 7, I got Alvin Kamara. Always been an Alvin Kamara fan. I feel like Alvin Kamara, he's going to be one of the bright spots in this offense, which is an offense that I feel like is a little shaky, especially when it comes to receivers. But he got Derek Carr. That's going to be, an upgrade from what they had. And, I mean, what has Alvin Kamara not did? I feel like he's really the touchdown monster, if you ask me. You could kind of say that about Austin Eckler, but Alvin Kamara plays kind of the same exact game, but better, if you ask me. I feel a lot more confident rushing Alvin Kamara than I would Austin Eckler. So that's why I got Alvin Kamara at number 7. At number 6, who just fell out of my top 5, is Saquon Barkley. We all talked about this before. We talked about Saquon Barkley issues that he had with his contract and everything else. I feel like he's a bozo for taking $1 million more than what he was going to sign before, but whatever. I guess you just wanted to play. But Saquon Barkley is everything for that Giants offense, and without him, they're really not going to be much. So, he's definitely a premier running back, especially if he stays healthy. He's going to be another running back that's going to be good for years to come. At number 5, I got Josh Jacobs. He's another one that I wanted to put higher on this, but I had to put him low really because I don't really think he's going to be as productive as he was last year. I don't think he's going to be the number 1 running back, leading the rushing going into 2023. That's an offense. That's a team that he didn't want to play for, if you ask me. He wanted money. They didn't want to pay him. I feel like he was preparing himself to leave, but ended up staying because nobody else really offered any much. I feel like that's what's happening with the running back market right now. I feel like a lot of running backs is forced to stay on the team that they want to stay on, that they don't want to be on, and take less bread because nobody else is going to offer anything because nobody really values running backs right now. I feel like that's a topic to really talk about one day, to go deeper into, because I feel like that's crazy. At number 4, I got Jonathan Taylor. We know he's going to be missing about the first 4 games, but that's the reason that he's not higher, to be honest. He's another one that I would have put higher on this list, but the fact that he's missing the first 4, that's going to hurt him in the stat game. But we all know what he brings, and the Colts need him bad, so they're going to do something to keep him. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like they're just playing games right now. How do you not want to pay somebody top money, but you want top things in return for a trade? I feel like that's stupid. They're going to do something to pay him because within them first 4 games, they're going to know that they need him. That's just what's going to happen. Within them first 4 games, they're probably going to go 1-3 or 0-4, and they're going to know that they need him. So that's exactly what's going to happen. Number 3, I got Derrick Henry. I feel like Derrick Henry would have been 1 on a lot of people's list, but I know not on yours, dweeb. But I know but Derrick Henry is still a premier running back in this league, to say. There's a lot of running backs that have a lot of more yards per carry than him. I feel like he does get a boatload of carries. That's the reason why his stats are always so crazy. But I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people are gonna take Derrick Henry over a lot of other running backs, including me. I'm gonna be honest. He's still a dog. He's still that guy. You still don't want to run with your head up to him because he's gonna make you hurt on your back bad. So,
Hey, yo.
yo, that was mad crazy, man. But that's Derrick Henry, man. That's Derrick Henry. That's Derrick Henry. At number 2, I got Nick Chubb. We know what Nick Chubb does. Nick Chubb is gonna be number 2 mainly because he's taking on the boatload now. He doesn't have no number 2 no more. He was a dog with a number 2 running back there. And you could say that Kareem Hunt could be a number 1 running back on a lot of teams. Kareem Hunt is like that too. And just seeing what Nick Chubb did with him there, knowing that he's not there anymore, it's like, y'all did the wrong thing just letting this guy get more carries. I'm going to be honest with you. So Nick Chubb is going to have a stellar year next year, and I'm going to love to see it. At number 1, I got Christian McCaffrey. You giving him another year in Kyle Shanahan's offense. We know what he does already. You seen what he did to the Eagles. He was the only bright thing that happened in that game. Christian McCaffrey is a generational talent. It's not a lot of players out here that's like him. It's not a lot of players out here in general that can do what he can do. As long as he stay healthy, he's another one that's got a chance to really be a Hall of Famer, if you ask me. So that's my top 10 running backs. Lil, let me see where yours is at, man.
All right, man. Let me got you. Number 10, I got Tony Pollard, the Dallas Cowboys. I think he's taking that next step. He's the reason why they were able to move off Zeke. He is coming off that ACL injury, but he did have his best season. He's a very dynamic pass catcher out there the backfield as well, on top of him going for over 1K last year. I think, I like what they got with him at. I don't think he's a bell cow back. I mean, like a 3-down back that just put the carries on, but he is the number 1 back to whoever they have as the number 2, whether it's Deuce Vaughn or Ronald Jones or whoever. At number 9, I got Aaron Jones. I feel like we got to put some respect on his name. I feel like he's very slept on, whether it's because, at a time you got Aaron Rodgers there, or is it that you had Devontae Adams there at a point, stuff like that. Nobody really realizes that what helped that offense go, what helped Aaron Rodgers be so good is that they had a good running game behind it. And it started with Aaron Jones. Don't get me wrong, AJ Dillon is a very solid back, but Aaron Jones makes that run game go. This is I think he's a step above Tony Pollard, but that can make plays in all facets of the game, but I don't want to put a boatload of carries on him either, So that's where he's at my number 9. At number 8, I got Alvin Kamara. He has had some down years lately. It hasn't been the best, but I think that gets turned around this year. He will be suspended for 3 games, so he will miss the first 3 games of the season. But when he comes back, he could be more back in that role of the speed runner, the pass catcher, and everything like that. Especially now that you got Jamal Williams there, who could be the power back. But Alvin Kamara just looks a lot like in the few snaps that we did see him play in the preseason, he just looked a lot more explosive, and that's saying a lot for a guy like Alvin Kamara who's already explosive. He just looks, a step quicker than he's been lately. Maybe he did something different within his training camp or something like that. But I think I see him as a number 8 back just because of the lack of production he's given me in the past few years. But it should be better, especially with Derek Carr and stuff like that now. Number 7, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is still one of them ones. I don't know how, the Minnesota Vikings decided to even move off of him, because he's still that guy.
Outrageous.
I got him at 7, but I just don't know what his role is gonna look like in New York. I think going into the season, he's gonna be fighting for Breece Hall for carries. But I think over time, he's going to show he's a better back than Brees Hall. And by midseason, he will be taking bulk of the carries, especially in the passing game as well. Number 6, I got Derrick Henry. Like you kind of mentioned, he's a bolt, like he's a lot to work with as a runner. Like you better have your chin strap. You better have your mouthpiece in when you about to tackle Derrick Henry. But like you mentioned as well, the stats look so good just because the amount of carries that they put on him. His yards per carry is really not that good, but he is the leading he's the driving force of that offense. My knock on him is his ability in the passing game. I think everybody else that I have in the top 5 above him are just a little bit better in the passing game or as a runner, as a speed runner and stuff like that, just a little bit more dynamic. That's all I'm trying to say. At number 5, I got Jonathan Taylor. Didn't want to put Jonathan Taylor at 5, but he did not have the best season last year. He's going to be out for 4 games this year, at least 4 games this year. He could miss more. So I had to put him at number 5. I think he's only 24, bro. Honestly, if he gets the opportunity, he can prove that he is top 3, arguably top 1 for sure. Like you could put honestly any of these top 5 backs at
That's a
number
fact.
1 if you really wanted. Top 6,
That's
honestly,
a fact.
at number 1.
It's all
But
circumstances with these
yeah,
top 5.
yeah. So I think, especially with a rookie quarterback, once he comes back, like you're going to have to lean on Jonathan Taylor, especially when you have Anthony Richardson, who is kind of compromised as a passer at this point, who needs to develop. So I think Jonathan Taylor will have a big role and bounce back this year whenever he comes back from his injury. Number 4, I got the rushing leader from last year, Josh Jacobs. I think he proved a lot of people wrong, including the Raiders, the team that declined his 5th-year option. Reason why, he's playing on a franchise tag right now. Need to just pay that man his money, but he did get, some money added on to that. He did get some money added on to that franchise tag. So he will be there this season. He'll be fresh. He didn't really have to go through a camp. But for a lot of these running backs, you don't really need a camp anyways. Number 3, I got the best thing in New York, Saquon Barkley. Like Saquon is the New York Giants offense. He's the reason why Daniel Jones got his money. Let's be real. If it wasn't for Saquon, Daniel Jones wouldn't have got his money because Daniel Jones did not look good without Saquon. Saquon is dynamic as a runner and a passer. The things that he can do for an offense, the place he can create, in a snap of a quick flash. He breaks off a 60-yard run real quick. He takes screens to the crib, the whole 9 yards. I think he's very underrated within the passing game. He's a better pass catcher out of the backfield than people might give him credit for. But he's just a force to deal with in both aspects of the game. And
Saquon got hands.
Yeah, he got hands.
One hands, bro. All that, even in college, he was catching down the field.
Yeah, he got hands. He's one of the ones for sure. That's why I got him at number 3. Number 2, I got Nick Chubb. That's a dog, man. I don't know how he fell to the 2nd round, let alone behind
former Bulldog.
I don't know how he fell behind his former Bulldog teammate Sony Michel, who's now retired, who won 2 Super Bowl rings. Don't get me wrong, but I don't even know how he fell behind him. But for the Browns, if the Browns want to do anything, it's going to start with him. At the end of the day, it's going to start with him in that running game. If Deshaun Watson want to get back to Deshaun Watson status, I don't think he's going to be passing for 5,000 yards just because you have a Nick Chubb back there behind him running the football. And you better bring your lunch pail. You better strap up that chin strap. You better have your mouthpiece in, bite down on it extra hard. No homo. But no,
that's crazy.
But yeah, bro, I got Nick Chubb at number 2, and at number 1, I got Christian McCaffrey. It's gonna be Christian McCaffrey's first full year in that Kyle Shanahan offense. He can do it all. He could run. He could catch. He could do it all. And part of why he's going to be the number 1 back is because of that offense that he's going to be in. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be a blessing for Kyle Shanahan and the plays that he want to draw up. He's going to be a reason why the 49ers are going to be good this year because, like I said, I do not think Brock Purdy is all that. I think he's okay at best, very mediocre, somewhere around the 20s range. He's in the 20s as the best quarterback in the league. So when you're working with that, you're going to need a good run game and, weapons. And he's probably the best weapon that you could have on offense. From the running game to the pass game, he can do it all. There's no flaws in his game at all when you look at his whole game. But that's my top 10 running backs.
I like him. Aaron Jones fell to my number 11. Tony Pollard was in my I think I had him at like 13.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to put ETN in my top 10 yet. Not just yet.
Bro, I feel like he's gonna have a big year next year, bro. A big one.
I could see it. I couldn't just yet. Not yet. But those are our top 10 running backs. And that is it for episode 11 of Before the Horn podcast. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We appreciate the love that we've been getting. NFL season is starting. College football season is in full effect. So we're definitely going to have a lot to talk about. We're definitely going to be having a lot of guests on because we're going to want to talk our talk. Day one will be back for our next episode. We're going to have a lot to talk about in our next episode, but make sure in the meantime you follow us on Instagram at Before the Horn Podcast. Follow us on TikTok and Twitter at Before the Horn Podcast. Make sure you tune in, like, subscribe, comment, share on YouTube. We appreciate all the fan interaction that we've been getting. Dennis, tell them about the Patreon.
Oh yeah, so as I know, for as little as $2 a month, y'all could do y'all part in supporting us and joining our Patreon. I mean, our Patreon is the best way to support us because we are still doing this as self-funded podcast. So we do work our 9 to 5s. We just take out of our free time to do this. So helping us with the Patreon will do a lot to help us to keep bringing us content and to keep staying consistent with it. On top of that, if you want to link with us and you want to talk with us personally, Patreon is the best way to go to do that. And we will be having shirts and hats dropping soon. We're going to have some merch coming out. Patreon is the best way to get some discounts on merch and some free merch. So if you guys are interested in getting some of that, go hit our Patreon up, man. We really do appreciate any and all types of love you guys are showing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is a wrap for episode 11 of Before the Horn podcast. Till next time.
Yes, sir.